top. So they basically break down death by automobile into multiple categories. You understand how they torture the data there? And then at the very bottom, they've got Ebola, because we've only had 2 people die of Ebola. So everything in the world is more dangerous than Ebola, according to the statistics of the Washington Post. They Grubered the data there. Except that we understand that there's been another executive order, all these executive orders, that's just how the country's run anymore by Obama, where he's going to allow people from nations who've been hit the hardest by Ebola, where they have the epidemic, to come to the country, to stay in this country. And of course, we're doing many things that are increasing the risk, and that's the point. It isn't that we've only had 2 people who have died of Ebola in the United States, so therefore it's not serious. It's that they're doing things to increase the risk. And the epidemic that's going on in Africa right now is fundamentally different. That's how they lie about it. The fact that we've already had more than 4 times all the previous 30-some-odd epidemics combined. Stay with us. We're going to be right back. Take your reactions and your solutions to the new Obama law by executive fiat.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad-tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
Another major health threat, this one in Toledo, Ohio, where everybody in the entire city has been told not to drink the water.
Ohio's governor declaring a state of emergency.
Did you know that the average person uses about 80 to 100 gallons of water at home every single day? If there's a water emergency, will you be prepared?
Panicked residents forming long lines throughout the day.
We're here at a supermarket in Toledo. You can see the shelves empty where water once was.
To stay safe and healthy during a crisis, you must have access to safe, clean water. Water which will not be available at your local grocery store.
There's a mad dash on right now to stock up on supplies.
The ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system is a must-have for every modern, independently minded household. Protect your family's safety during an emergency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com today to purchase your ProPure Pro 1 G2.0 water filtration system, or call 1-888-253-3139.
The experts are clear. Sunlight, purified water, healthy non-GMO food, and having a good attitude is essential to a healthy immune system. But I go further with Super Nascent Iodine X2 from InfoWarsLife.com. 50% stronger than our original and revolutionary Nascent Iodine formula, coming from a deep earth crystal source that no other supplier has. Most other forms of iodine come from seaweed in areas plagued by Fukushima and other contaminants. Not our iodine. It comes from over 200 million-year-old crystal salt deposits and is tested and proven to be completely pure. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today. See the informational videos. Read the information they're compiled. And for a limited time, when you use promo code NOW at checkout, you get an additional 5% off the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products. Secure your Survival Shield X2 today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
The average person's life is filled with unexpected challenges. Unlock the energy it takes to defeat these daily beasts with Super Male or Super Female Vitality, specifically designed to assist the body in regulating proper hormone balance to create superior vitality in males and females. Supercharge and conquer your world at InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. From time to time, we've been tempted to believe that society has become too complex to be managed by self-rule, that government by an elite group is superior to government for, by, and of the people.
The Alex Jones Show, because there is a war on for your mind.
Hello, me. Meet the real me. And my misfits way of life. A dark black past is mine.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. We're going to be taking your calls in just a moment to get your reaction to the new way that we do government here in America. It's called Obama Law. And actually, we came in with that clip from Ronald Reagan. Actually, guys, we need to get a clip of Ronald Reagan back in the day when he would say, you know, I want to balance the budget, and I send a budget every year to the House, and Tip O'Neill pronounces it dead on arrival, and there's nothing I can do about it. Remember, Democrats, that there's one day going to be another Republican president. Do you want him to rule by fiat? What do you think he's going to do? You don't want to give that power to one man, yet Obama has been absolutely doubling down on his executive orders. He said, I've actually been very restrained on executive orders. This is an article from The Hill where they quote him. He says, if you ask historians, you take back a look at the track records of the modern presidency, I've been actually very restrained. I've been very restrained with respect to immigration. I've bent over backwards. I will continue to do everything I can to get Congress to work. What does he mean by getting Congress to work? See, when Congress blocks the president because they don't agree with him, Congress is actually working. No, what he means is when I can get Congress to do what I demand. See, that's the issue. They didn't do what he demanded, so he ran around them, did whatever he wanted to. He says, and this is actually the narrative that we've seen over and over again from many in the mainstream media. The Hill puts this in there. We've seen it from Reuters, from AP, from most of the mainstream media, CNN. Presidents Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush all issued executive orders on immigration while they were in the White House. Well, the reality of it is that Bush and Reagan referenced Simpson-Mazzoli, the Simpson-Mazzoli bill, which was passed by the Congress. They said the intent of the bill was to unite families, so what they did was they extended it in some areas. The bill directed the president to have the attorney generals change the status so that they would accomplish different objectives with that. But what we saw in the result of the Simpson-Mazzoli Act, as a result of Reagan and Bush implementing that, we saw that it didn't work. It only incentivized further illegal immigration. We saw that millions of people were granted amnesty under Simpson-Mazzoli, and then they realized that the border wasn't closed, that they could come in and it would probably happen again, and it is happening again. That's one of the reasons why they were blocking him on this. But of course, he did say one thing that was right, that quoted in The Hill. He said, their comments, that is the GOP's comments, are simply, quote, a lot of rhetoric. That's basically the first thing he said about this that I agree with. Now, he also went out and actually mocked the GOP. We've got a clip of this where he says, I didn't dissolve Parliament. Let's play that.
You know, I don't always listen to all the commentary, but I understand that some of them are already saying that my actions sabotage their ability to pass a bill and make immigration work better. Why? Why? I didn't dissolve Parliament. That's not how our system works. I didn't steal away the various clerks in the Senate and the House who manage bills. They can still pass a bill. I don't have a vote in Congress. Pass a bill. You don't need me to call a vote to pass a bill. Pass a bill. Because
Yeah, he says, I didn't sabotage their ability to pass a bill. That's right, he didn't. They were working. That's what they did not want to have happen, is the bill that he pushed through. No, what he sabotaged was the Constitution itself. He sabotaged the division of powers that says that laws are made by Congress, that they're not made by executive fiat. He said he didn't dissolve the parliament. No, he basically bypassed it, okay? He essentially made it redundant by defying the fact that they didn't want that kind of immigration bill. It's kind of like what we saw last week. I don't know if you saw the article that was up on Infowars.com about J. Edgar Hoover sending threatening letters to Martin Luther King. They had been bugging Martin Luther King's personal life, and they knew that he was having some affairs. So they said, we're going to expose you as a hypocrite. So for your own good, just take your life. Well, he didn't take his life. They realized that was a threat from J. Edgar Hoover and the government. They didn't take his life, but of course, he was killed, even though he was not pushed into taking his life. Yet we have seen that the GOP essentially has agreed to commit suicide, not only for us, for them, but for us, for the entire country. We just had an election where we made it clear as a people that we did not support this kind of action. We voted for the Republicans. That was a clear message that we did not like Obamacare. We did not like Obama's amnesty. Those were major issues in this election. And he doesn't even do anything to wait for the elected representatives. He just goes on his own. And yet the Republicans' reaction has simply been to come up with a lot of rhetoric and then go on vacation. We had this from the Sunday show today. We had Patrick Buchanan, and the video is linked up on Infowars.com. He's on one of the Sunday shows and said, rogue Obama's amnesty is an impeachable act. Let's play a short clip from that.
We're also a nation of laws, and we have a constitution. And Barack Obama has said sort of repeatedly that he did not have the legal or the constitutional authority to issue what is an executive amnesty. He is behaving as a rogue president, John. Politically, it may be a very clever move. He's dividing the Republicans, no doubt about it. He's sticking it into their face after their victory. He's saying, I'm going to do what I want to do, and now you pass your bill. Impeachable act, but they should not impeach him.
Did you catch that? He lays out the case perfectly, and then at the end he says, it's an impeachable act, but they shouldn't impeach him. Why? The Congress has passed, and they did right after they came back from the election. They had a very short term. One of the first things, if not the first thing they did, was to pass the Keystone Pipeline bill for a 9th time. And I don't care what you think about the Keystone Pipeline. We can talk about that. The issue is they know it's not going to go anywhere, and yet they have passed it 9 times. They know it's not going to go past a Democrat Senate. Why would they do that? Why would they stand on that principle for their corporate sponsors, and yet they won't stand on principle for the American public, for the voters? They just give him a pass. And it's not just Pat Buchanan and the rest of the GOP establishment saying they had to go out. Here's some of the writers. This is the Weekly Standard, and I think for this we ought to actually spell it W-E-A-K, Weekly Standard, How to Rebuke a President. If you look at their article on the Weekly Standard, they've got Obama and some stocks, and they've got written over it the word censure. Basically saying that what they ought to do is they ought to vote to censure him. I'm sure that would scare him to death. I'm sure that would rebuke him in a way that he would never do this again. And then, of course, we have this from North Dakota. The Republicans have gotten together and they've named a landfill after Obama. They said that they didn't think that they would be able to get this through, but they thought naming a pile of garbage after Obama was a fitting tribute. Well, that's great, you know, but I think it's time we stop the name calling and we put him on the rubbish heap of history for real. Let's impeach this guy, because if we don't, we're going to have a long string of dictators from every party, and that is why the GOP doesn't want to do it. Stay with us. We're going to take your calls. 877-789-ALEX.
In the near future.
When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. InfoWars building independent media operation.
We let the worst people get control and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called InfoWars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy.